Hello guys, welcome to today's tutorials. Today it's Tuesday, May 25, 2020. Today we've got witty reading, and our agenda is the big question. Why should we speak out? What is the reason we need to speak out? Vocabulary words. We're going over the vocabulary words that are going to be in this witty reading lesson. After that, we're going to work page 46, 47, and page 48 in your learning log. Now, we're going to go over historical places, and later on, I'm going to explain you a little bit more about it. All right, so let's begin with our big question. The big question is, why should we speak out? What is the reason we have to protest for something? And remember that we went over the word protest a few days ago, and it had a specific meaning. Do you remember what protest mean? It means what? To protest means to what? Yes, to speak out, okay? To you disagree with something, okay? So you speak out, okay? And you protest. Now, why should we speak out? For what reasons? When we disagree with something, when something is not fair, like girls' rights. If you think something is not fair with your right as a girl, or with your right as a human, or as a boy, you are going to protest, okay? So that is one of the reasons we should speak out. All right, let's continue here. Vocabulary words. What are the vocabulary words for this witty reading? And I'm going to begin with the vocabulary words right before we continue, because later on these words can come out and you are not going to be able to understand them to complete the activities if we don't know the meaning of these vocabulary words. So it is important that you guys check them out, okay? And we're going over one by one. Okay, so the first one is local. What is something local? Belonging to a particular area, okay? Like, for example, I'll go to the local restaurant. It belongs to my community. It is a local place, okay? Like supermarket is a local store where you guys can go and shop. It's not restricted. It's for everybody in that particular area. And then we got major. What is the major? Remember that major means that it was a person. A major is a person, okay? A major is a person elected as head of the city. The major, okay, is the head of the city. Okay, this guy is in charge. Okay, this guy is in charge of the city. Okay, so the mayor is the chief, the head of the city. Save. What is to save? When you save something or someone, you keep it safe. Okay, to save something or someone is to keep it safe, secure, away from danger. Like right now, if you stay at home, you stay safe, and that is the word, safe. Okay, so if you stay at home, you stay safe. The next word is theater. What is a theater? A building which plays and performances are given. Remember, we went over that vocabulary word last week, theater, and I mentioned you guys one of the most important theaters here in Veracruz. All right, what is to express? When you express, okay, you say a thought or a feeling. When you protest, okay, when you remember the word that I put up, when you protest, you express. Okay, you express something that you don't like, maybe, or something that you love. It could be a positive or a negative feeling. Okay, so when you express your feelings as well. All right. Relates. What is to relate? To be casually connected, okay? Something that is connected to you. For example, in my community, I have my neighbors, okay? And they have the same street, the same name of the street, okay? This is my house here. This is my neighbor's house on the other end. And we are related because we live in the same street, okay? Apple Street, let's say. We are related. We live in the same street, so it's a relation, related, okay? It's a relation that we have, that we live in the same street. For example, the same as you can be related to someone for for living, okay? For being a family member, that is a relation that you could probably have. So it relates to you. To scan. What is to scan? When you, for example, when I say sometimes, okay guys, we're going to read the key now, you're going to scan the key. When you scan something, it's to look at all the parts. To look at all the parts. Don't skip parts. No. Scan means to look at all the parts completely without skipping parts. All right. You guys ready to continue? So far, so good? Yes, I see you guys doing it well. Okay, now let's begin by doing page 46 in your Witty reading section. And it says, let's listen to Courtney. Now, we're going to read Save the Colonial. And after you guys read Save the Colonial, I'm going to give you guys 10 minutes to complete activity 1, activity 2. And that's it for this page. Okay, so activity 1 and 2 are going to be completed in 10 minutes. Let me show you guys first Save the Colonial story, which was in your awesome reader from last week. This is the same story that you guys went over last week. What we're doing here is just reviewing the story so that we can keep going to analyze more the story in these coming up pages. So please listen to the story and enjoy it.
There's Save the Colonial. Courtney lives in Milford, Delaware. The town is more than 100 years old. There's an old train station, an old boat dock, and many old buildings in town. Courtney loves the Colonial Theater on Warren Street. She's sad because the owner is closing it. Her mother told her, "It's an old theater, and it needs a lot of repairs. The owner can't open it or fix it. He doesn't have the money." Courtney is walking to the library with her mother when they pass the theater. There's a sign on its doors that reads, "Save me." "What does that mean?" Courtney asks. "It will be torn down if no one fixes it." "But the theater is so beautiful," says Courtney. "And it's fun to go to the movies there." Courtney thinks and thinks. "Maybe we can find a way to save the theater. There must be something we can do." Courtney goes to the library. She looks up information about the Colonial Theater. It was built in 1903. Famous people performed on its stage. A very famous magician named the Great Houdini performed there in 1917. In 1958, the theater appeared in a scary movie called The Blob. "What a history!" says Courtney out loud. Then Courtney and her mother decide to go to the town hall. The mayor works there. They think the mayor can help them save the theater. We want to save the theater, Courtney tells him. So do we, the mayor replies. But the theater needs a lot of repairs. The owner doesn't have the money, so he's going to sell it. Then what is going to happen? Asks Courtney. The mayor frowns. The theater will be torn down and a new building will be built in its place. Courtney cries out, We can't let that happen. We can help or do something, right? People need to show they care about the theater, says the mayor. If the community believes it's important, it can be saved. Courtney gets to work. She has a plan. She asks her friends and neighbors to help. Let's show everyone we are responsible. Let's show how much we care for our neighborhood. Courtney's mother asks local businesses to help. 1 month later, everyone meets at the theater. Courtney's father arrives in a patrol car with flashing lights. He's a police officer. The police close Warren Street to traffic. People march up and down carrying signs. The high school band plays some music. Cheerleaders perform. Girls and boys hand out information on the history of the Colonial Theater. The owner of the corner store gives out free bags of popcorn. Most of the community is there. Courtney has a sheet to sign that says, It isn't impossible. We can do it. People are putting their names on a list under the words, Don't close the Colonial. They are also giving money to help fix the theater. But Courtney wants to do even more. Just then, a newspaper reporter comes by. What's going on here? She asks. Courtney runs over to the reporter. We care about the Colonial Theater. We want to keep it open. We have to try and save it. People should rediscover this amazing place. So the reporter writes a story about Courtney and the theater. The next day, it's on the front page of the newspaper. The theater is special because it's old, says Courtney in the story. It's part of our past. If we lose the theater, we lose a part of our history.
Okay, so did you guys listen to the story? Don't you think it's very interesting the way she saved the theater? Alright, so this was the same story that we went over last week. As I said before, Save the Colonial. And now we're going to begin with activity number 1. Activity number 1 says, choose the correct word from the box that you have there to complete this sentence. Now, let's read the words from the box. We have local, major, save, theater. Now, those vocabulary words are the words that we just went over. Now you know the meaning for each of the words, and if you need to go back on the video to show you the meaning of the words, you may do so. That way you can catch and see which one it is. Now, in activity number 2, you guys are going to get with somebody else at home. It says get into pairs, but as I said before, don't worry about the pairing work. Now you're going to get next to somebody that is in your house. Think about one of your favorite buildings, okay, or historical places in Veracruz or Mexico, all around Mexico. This doesn't have to be only here. Okay, now imagine that the place will be turned down. Add your thoughts and the event and feelings to the chart below. Now you're going to imagine that they are going to destroy this historical building. I'm going to give you an example, okay? So place you like. And here in the place you like, it's going to be the historical building. I'm going to choose a historical building here in Veracruz would be Teatro Reforma, okay? Okay, Teatro de la Reforma. That is one of our historical buildings. Now, describe the event. And here you're going to be specific. What is it that is going to happen? Okay? And you're going to write down here in describe the event what will happen. They are going to destroy the Teatro de la Reforma because it's too old and it needs maintenance like the one here in the story. For example, I'm just giving you an example, okay? Now, describe your feelings. Feelings. Now, on this one here, are you feeling happy about it? Are you feeling sad about it? Or are you okay with it? Okay. So whatever the situation is or however you feel, you guys are going to write it down on that space. That is completely your opinion. There is no right or wrong on this section here. But the one that there is right or wrong, and we're going to check after you guys complete it in a few minutes that I'm going to give you guys, and 10 minutes that I'll give you. I think that's fine for you to write down the information that is asking you here on this page, and for you to answer as well activity number 1. So take 10 minutes to complete these activities here, okay? And after you finish, we will check activity 1. right, guys, so are you guys ready to check page 46? How did you do? Wasn't it excellent? Okay, let's check and see. Page 46. Page 46, activity number 1. Okay, activity number 1 says when something relates to or is characteristic of a certain place, it is called. Very good. Excellent participation. Local, okay? When something relates to or is characteristic of a certain place, it's a local. Okay, number 2. Blank is the synonym of rescue. Blank is the synonym of rescue, and as I mentioned before, to protect something. What is it? Yes, to save, like save the colonial, protect the colonial. Very good. Number 3, the person who is in charge of making the decisions for a town or city is it's the mayor. Very good. The person in charge. Thank you guys for participating. Wow, I see you guys working excellent today. A blank is the place where arts, music, dancing are expressed. What is it? This is a building. This could be a historical building as well. What is it? Yes, it's the theater. Okay, so these are the correct missing words, okay, here in the blanks. And remember, activity 2, you have to give your opinion, okay, about an event that could happen if or feeling, sorry, if one of your historic places, favorite historic places, were to be torn down or destroyed. How would you guys feel? That would be activity number 2. We're not checking that one because there is no right or wrong. It's completely your opinion. Okay, so now we're going to continue working with the next page, and this is page 47. Open your learning log in page 47. Okay, now we're going to begin with page 47. Here, this is the next page, and I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes to complete this page here, but do not worry. After the 5 minutes, we're going over a little bit more about it, and I'm going to explain right before you guys start, okay, with this. We're going to read what is here, the instruction. After reading the second part of the story, analyze the cause of each situation and write the effect in the box. Now, remember, every time we have an effect, it's the result of something. Okay, so here we go. The cause. The colonial theater needs repairs, so people march together asking not to close it. Not to close it. Now, that is the cause. What would be the effect? Okay, we're going to write it down. I'm going to give you 5 minutes. Hold on. It says cause. A newspaper reporter writes a story about Courtney and her struggle. What would be the effect on that one? Okay, we're going to write it down as well. All right, now in activity number 4, you guys are going to work with an adult at home, if you have somebody to work with, and discuss different ways to help the colonial theater, this theater that they are talking about in the story. How would your actions help? What would you do to save the colonial? Okay, write your ideas below and then share them, okay, with the person that is helping you guys out. So this is completely your opinion, and we're gonna go a little bit more over it after you guys finish in 5 minutes. But I want you to think, imagine that you are in the story, that you are part of the story. What could you do to help Courtney save the colonial theater? What could you do, guys? Are you just gonna be like, okay, whatever? Or are you going to help, stand out, protest, or do what? What is it exactly that you could do? Remember that there are many ways we can protest so that we can speak out for something that is not correct, like destroying a historical place. Okay, so 5 minutes for you to work and answer these cause and effect exercises, and after you guys finish, we will discuss a little bit more about it.